Welcome to Card of Destiny. I'm Pandora. If this video found you, it means it's meant for you to hear. This is a message for you. Today, we'll explore your relationship, how you and your partner see and feel about each other, the current dynamics, and what the future may hold. If you enjoy my readings, please subscribe and share. Your support means the world to me. Let's begin your reading. You, the person who is watching. As the Prince of Cups appears reversed in your place within this relationship reading, your current emotional energy feels tangled, elusive, and complex. You may be moving through this connection with an air of mystery, even to yourself. The reversed nature of this card signals that you are a deeply feeling individual, but your emotions may not always be expressed in a clear or grounded way. You could be wrestling with inner uncertainty or hesitation, especially when it comes to vulnerability or romantic sincerity. There's a quiet yearning here, to be seen, to be desired, and yet not fully trusting that it's safe to bare your heart. You might even be guarding it more than you realize. You're likely someone who tends to romanticize love, craving an ideal that you may not always feel meets reality. This can create an internal push-pull dynamic, one part of you longing to dive deeply into intimacy, while another remains elusive, secretive, even a little emotionally aloof. Perhaps you find yourself slipping into fantasy or daydreams about what love could be rather than facing what is. It's not necessarily that you're trying to deceive anyone. It's more about protecting yourself from disappointment. The reversed Prince of Cups can also reflect emotional indecision or avoidance. You may be sensing that something is off in the relationship but not fully confronting it. It might be difficult for you to express what you're truly feeling, especially if those feelings are turbulent or confusing. You may appear calm on the surface, even gentle, but beneath the still waters lies a storm of feelings that you haven't quite sorted through. There's a poetic beauty in your soul, but right now, that poetry might be veiled in sadness or disillusionment. It's also worth noting that this card reversed often shows someone who is incredibly intuitive but struggling to trust their gut. You may know something is amiss, perhaps you've seen red flags or inconsistencies, but your heart keeps whispering maybe it'll still work out. That internal conflict might be paralyzing you from taking the steps you need to feel whole and emotionally secure. Your partner. The Magus reversed as the card representing your partner reveals an incredibly talented but potentially manipulative energy. Upright, the Magus is the master of communication, manifestation, and charisma. Someone who knows how to use their words, ideas, and image to shape reality. Reversed, however, this energy becomes distorted. It can point to someone who is brilliant and articulate, but perhaps uses those gifts to confuse, distract, or control. Your partner may be someone who says the right things at the right time, but fails to follow through with real substance. They might wear a variety of masks, charming and attentive one moment, withdrawn or evasive the next. This kind of inconsistency may be leaving you feeling disoriented, as though you're never quite sure which version of them will show up. The reversed Magus suggests that this person knows how to command attention or admiration, but there might be a disconnect between their image and their true intentions. There's a sense that this partner is good at spinning a narrative, perhaps even making you question your own perceptions. If you felt like you're always trying to figure them out or decode mixed signals, this card confirms that your confusion may not be accidental. Whether intentional or not, they could be operating from a place of self-protection, fear of vulnerability, or even ego, projecting confidence and control while keeping their own insecurities buried deep. It's also possible your partner is genuinely struggling with identity or direction right now. The reversed Magus doesn't always point to malicious behavior. Sometimes it reflects someone who has lost touch with their authentic self, relying on performance and external validation to compensate. Either way, you're likely feeling that something here isn't grounded, isn't fully honest, or simply isn't enough. Current situation. The appearance of the Emperor in reverse at the center of this relationship points to an imbalance of power, structure, and control. Upright, the Emperor represents stability, authority, and reliability. Reversed, this energy becomes distorted, indicating rigidity, dominance, or a lack of healthy boundaries. In your current situation, the relationship may feel out of alignment in terms of roles, expectations, or emotional responsibility. One or both of you might be asserting dominance in subtle or overt ways, trying to control the narrative, the emotions, or even each other. Alternatively, there could be a total collapse of structure altogether, where no one is taking the lead, and the relationship is drifting in emotional limbo. This card suggests tension around who holds the power in the dynamic, whether that's emotional power, decision-making power, or the ability to define where this connection is going. It may also speak to issues of commitment. The reversed Emperor can reflect someone who is unwilling or unable to step into a mature, grounded partnership. They may resist labels, future planning, or any kind of emotional accountability. You might be finding that the relationship lacks the consistency and reliability you need to feel safe and secure. For others, this card might reflect a relationship dynamic that feels overly rigid or suffocating. Perhaps one of you is holding too tightly, imposing expectations or rules that don't leave room for emotional fluidity. Either way, this is not a card of balance or ease. It points to a foundational misalignment that must be addressed if the relationship is to grow into something nourishing. Possible outcome. The Prince of Swords reversed as your near-future outcome suggests turbulence in communication and decision-making. This card reversed speaks of mental overload, rash words, and strategic avoidance. You or your partner may struggle to communicate clearly, leading to misunderstandings, circular arguments, or conversations that feel more like debates than dialogues. There's a strong possibility of detachment on the horizon. The reversed Prince of Swords doesn't necessarily indicate a breakup, but it does show that the relationship may become more cerebral than emotional, more analytical than heartfelt. You may try to rationalize your feelings or approach the connection from a place of logic, but this could end up bypassing the emotional truth that wants to be felt and expressed. This card can also point to avoidance, running from the deeper work that the relationship needs in order to evolve. One or both of you may adopt a defensive or even dismissive stance, especially if hard truths begin to surface. There's a restlessness here, a desire to move forward, but without a clear plan or emotional maturity to back it up. On a more positive note, this card could suggest that you will begin to see through the illusions or confusion that may have clouded your perception of the relationship. You may begin to question more boldly, to ask harder questions, and to demand clearer answers. While this may lead to some uncomfortable realizations, it could also be the beginning of mental clarity and emotional liberation. Conclusion. This is a relationship that holds emotional intrigue, psychological depth, and undeniable intensity, but also one filled with shadows, uncertainty, and potentially manipulative patterns. You, the person who is watching, are navigating this connection with sensitivity, dreaminess, and a guarded heart. You long for something true, something meaningful, but right now you may be struggling to see through the haze of what's real and what's illusion. Your partner, as represented by the reversed Magus, is an enigma, possibly charming, intelligent, and expressive, but also elusive, inconsistent, or performative. There's a sense that they are not fully showing up in this relationship as their authentic self, and this creates a dynamic of imbalance and mistrust. The core of the relationship, symbolized by the reversed Emperor, is lacking stability and mutual grounding. There's a need to redefine the rules, to restore a sense of equality, and to determine whether this connection is built on shared vision or shaky foundations. Without this restructuring, the relationship may continue to cycle through confusion, power struggles, or emotional detachment. The likely near-future outcome, with the Prince of Swords reversed, warns of more miscommunications, avoidance, or cold logic replacing emotional intimacy. This doesn't have to be a permanent state, but it suggests that without conscious effort from both sides, the connection may become more mentally exhausting than emotionally fulfilling. If you're feeling drained, disoriented, or unsure of your place in this connection, take that as a sign to pause and reflect. Ask yourself, what do you really want from love? From this person? From yourself? It may be time to return to your emotional truth, not the fantasy, not the potential, but the reality of what's unfolding. The message of this spread is clear. Something here needs to shift. Whether it's a change in how you communicate, the boundaries you set, or the expectations you hold, it's time to step into your power and make decisions that honor your emotional well-being. You are worthy of love that feels safe, real, and reciprocal. Trust yourself to know when something is no longer aligned, and trust yourself even more when it's time to choose something better. Thank you for watching my video. I hope this message brought you the clarity you needed. If you enjoyed it, please support my channel. Good luck on your journey.